Okay, my friends, today I'm going to teach you how to make a fall landscape painting. A landscape is an artwork that shows the land. So sometimes it shows the sky and the ground, sometimes it shows trees or flowers, but it shows us the world around us. Before we paint, we need to make sure we have our messy paper underneath our painting paper so that we can keep our tables clean. To begin our painting, we're going to need a cup with yellow, red, and orange paint. That is because in the fall, as maybe we talked about, the leaves can change colors to all sorts of beautiful, vibrant colors like red, yellow, and orange. You may need to share a cup with your neighbor, or you might have one all to yourself. That is okay. But to paint today, we're going to do something different. We're not going to be using paintbrushes. We're going to be using these. So you're going to have a bunch of their craft sticks, and I rubber banded them together so we have a bunch of little dots that we're going to make instead of lines with our painting. We are doing that so that we can show all the leaves that are on the trees. So every little piece will show us a new leaf. So to do this, it's a special kind of painting that I'm going to call jump painting. So to do this, instead of wiping across the paper, we're going to jump. So this is how you do it. You hold on your sticks, you dab them into the paint. We don't need to spin it or swirl it. You just kind of dab it in there and see you have a little bit of every color. And then we're going to paint inside this wavy line. So we're going to stay above the flat line and under the wavy line, just like this. And what I'm doing is I'm jumping my brush up and down, and see all those little dots I'm making? Those will look like leaves when I fill up the paper. So this is a lot of work. So you're going to jump, jump, jump all across until you can see I'm not really leaving a lot of paint anymore. The paint is running out. So I'm going to take my sticks and I'm going to dip them just down and up. That's all I need is one quick down and up. I don't need to spin it or stir it. And then I can start jumping again and see how it has a lot more paint. So let's count how many jumps I have before I have to jump. I have to dip back in. So I'm going to keep dabbing. I almost have this area full, but I have a whole lot more to do. So I'm going to dip in and out. See how it looks? And let's count how many times I can jump before I have to dip again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And now it's starting to run out, but look, I have a big clump of paint over here. So I can actually jump right on top of that clump and pick up some more. So instead of dipping back in there, I can jump into my puddles. I can pick up more. Now remember, I'm not swiping. I'm not twirling my brush. I'm just jumping up and down. And when I start to run out, I dip one more time. Jump, jump, jump. Oh, look, I got a big puddle there, so I can go and I can jump into that puddle a little bit. But you don't have to spread out all of it. You can just jump around. Okay. Now see my helping hand? That's holding the paper steady so that I don't jump, jump, jump. We want to keep jumping until we don't see a lot of blue in this space anymore. So I still see some blue over here. I see little bits of blue over here. So it's a lot of work, a lot of jumping in and out. I might need to move my helping hand. Jump, 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 jump. So let's say maybe 10 jumps before we dip. Let's do it like this. Let's try counting 10 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I like that because then I have some really bright areas. Let's do 10 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And when we're jumping, we're looking for empty areas. I see one more little empty area there and a little one there. So I'm going to do about 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking real careful now for the empty area. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And just to check, I'm going to add, because I think I'm about done, because I think I filled it up pretty good. So see how all those little jumps, they look like little leaves on trees now. That's because I just jumped up and down, and I did not slide or swirl my brush. But guess what? These trees are somewhere really special. These trees are in front of a lake. If you've ever been to a lake before, you know how wonderful and beautiful those lakes are. And do you know what happens when you have something in front of or above a lake? Sometimes you see a reflection in the water. So we're going to create a reflection of these trees in the water, but we can't jump for that because the reflection does not have the texture and the crinkliness of the leaves. It just has the colors. So we're actually going to do a new kind of painting to make the reflection on the water. It's going to be slide painting. So what I need you to do is you're going to hold your hand right at the bottom of the paper. And you're going to dip in again. We don't need to stir. So we're just doing a regular dip. And this time, I'm going to put my brush down the paper and I'm going to slide it across. So this time, you can't do as many slides. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4 before you have to stop. I'll dip again. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sort of like ice skating if anyone's ever ice skated. So it's okay if we don't fill up every spot. When we were doing the trees, we wanted to fill up all of that blue area and cover it up. With the reflection in the water, sometimes we want to see the water shine through. So we don't have to cover every little spot. So maybe I'll do it one more time. I'm going to add some extra yellow this time. So I'm only going to dip in the yellow. And I'm going to do 1 slide across, 2 slides across, 3, and 4. There. Oh, an extra 5. What do you think? Do you think that looks good? Maybe I'll add a couple little mini slides to get like a little bit of a reflection towards the bottom, but it doesn't need to go all the way down. I think that's probably about good. So that is how we do our jump painting and our slide painting. And now what we have is we have trees and we have a reflection and we have the blue paper because it's a blue lake and a blue sky. So now what we have to do is we have to let it dry. And next week we are going to draw on the trunks of our trees and some of the branches. And we can add clouds and we can add some white shiny shimmers onto our lake. If you are ready to try painting this, you're going to be sitting nice and calm and still, and we will give you all your materials. Good luck! Hello, my friends. We are going to be working on finishing our landscape picture with the fall colors. So, like we talked about, we need to add some of our tree trunks and our tree branches. So we're going to make Y trees. So we are going to be using markers. So you need to be really careful. You don't want to draw on your skin. You don't want to draw on your table. So you start by pulling the marker cap off, and sometimes that's hard. You got to pull it pretty hard. If you need help, you can raise your hand. The cap can go right on the back. And if that's too tricky, you can just put it right on the table. So always hold your paper down, and we'll start over on this side. To make a Y tree, you're going to start right along the line where the bumpy trees end. So if you remember, we were doing our jump painting to make the bumpy trees, and we did our slide painting for the reflection. So our trees need to be on the bumpy part. So if you can find with your finger where the bumpy part kind of starts, that's where your Y tree starts. So you start by making a line up, and then you can make a line out one way, and then you can make a line out the other way. So it looks kind of like a Y. And then we can do a couple more. So we'll move over a little bit. We can make another tree. Now this one maybe can be a little bit shorter. There's another Y. I'll move over again. Maybe I'll make this one a tall one. And you know what's good is trees are all different and they're not perfectly straight. So if your lines are a little wiggly, or if they're not always straight up and down, that's okay too. They can kind of move around a little bit and become wiggly. So I'm just keep moving over. I'm putting my finger down to make sure I don't draw inside my reflection. I don't want the Y's on my water. So I'm making sure my finger's showing me where to go. Wiggly Y, so it's a line up, and then a line out one way, and then a line out the other way. I'll do one more. Now, I think that looks pretty good, but if we wanted to add a couple more branches, we could make little baby Ys up at the top too for some of the branches that are peeking through. So I'm going to find the top of my trees, and I'm going to make some baby Ys for some branches that are kind of sticking out. These ones are really small. I hope you can see them in the video. Just little Ys. I think that looks pretty good. You don't want to do too many, but you want to do enough that it looks like you have a bunch of trees. So I'm going to count how many I made. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I made 8 wide trees across the bottom. And then I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 baby wide trees. So we'll start with making your big wide trees, and then you can make a couple baby wide trees. That is your first step. Next, we have to make some shines and shimmers in our water. So when you have water and the sun shines on it, there's a reflection. It's almost like glittery little diamonds, and sometimes it looks white. So we're going to take a white piece of chalk, okay, and we're going to hold it, not like we're going to draw and write with it, but we're going to hold it so it's laying on its side like that. We want it to be on its side. And then what we're going to do is, just like how we slide painted our reflection of the trees, we're going to slide it across. So again, we're going to find that line because we don't want the water reflection on the trees. It should only be in the water section. So we're going to make sure we don't go over our bumpy trees. And we're going to slide across. And you can see it leaves us little lines where our water is. So I'm just going to go across one half first. My helping hand is holding it down, and I'm sliding. And then move down, slide again. Okay, so now I have some water lines, and now I'm going to do the other side. So you might need to move your hand, or you might need to turn your paper. Just put your chalk down again. It's on its side, it's laying down, and we're dragging across all the way to the edge. Make sure you take it all the way to the edge and all the way to the edge. Now I'm not scribbling or coloring, I'm just doing one nice long slide, and that's all we need. So now we have some water lines. Lastly, we are going to make some clouds, and we can still use our white chalk. Now this part's a little bit fun. So again, you can use your helping hand. You don't want to wipe your reflections off, so you don't want to be rubbing all over the bottom, but you're just going to hold the paper steady, and we get to do some circles. Lots of circles that are all on top of each other, and that will make it start to look like fluffy clouds. So there's one cloud, and you know what you can do? Once you make a fluffy cloud, you can take your finger and you can rub over it, and that makes it look really fluffy. See how it's taking some of those lines and it's making them disappear? I'm rubbing it in to make it look fluffy. There's one fluffy cloud. Now, I'll do one more, and this time we'll count and see how long it takes, how long we should be drawing and how long we should be rubbing. So let's do another one right up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 seconds is a good amount of time to scribble your cloud in. And now let's take our finger and let's rub. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I think that's pretty good. So you can add a couple clouds. I might add a couple more. I might add some baby clouds, just like we did some baby trees. I might add a couple little clouds too. You can choose if you want to add a lot of clouds or a couple clouds. But you want to make sure that they're not scribbling up and down or side to side, that we're doing nice gentle circles. But after you do one, you want to stop and rub it in to make it look nice and soft and fluffy. And that's how you can make a nice landscape painting. So we have our fall colored trees, we have our wide branches, we have our water reflections, and we have our clouds. We did a lot of stuff to make this landscape. So now you know all the parts of a landscape. An artist always looks at their work when they're done and they decide if they want to add any more. And I thought I wanted to make my cloud go all the way to the edge. So that's why I stopped and I added a few more circles, holding my paper steady, and I'm rubbing over them again so they're nice and soft. So you can do that, or you can look at your clouds and say, I want it to be a little bigger, or I want it to be a little longer. And there you go. I like that now. That's much better. I like it because it's got a nice lumpy shape, so it's not just a regular oval. I like that I have a different shape now. And there is my picture. I'm going to pick it up so you can see it all up close. There's my wide trees and my clouds and my reflection. All right, I hope you enjoyed making this fall landscape picture with me. Have a wonderful day.